Welcome back, guys. Jesus here with TheVaultProScooters. Got another unboxing for you. Really stoked to have this new blacksmith decks from Tobias Mayer and the Brandon James coming out. We got right here the Tobias Mayer. So let's pull this bad boy out. Pretty simple packaging, plastic bag. In here, some spacers. I'm assuming for the Radix wheels. Oh, this thing is pretty big. First thing I can say is nice. I like the nice like semi matte black. It's more like a satin black, I would say. We got the colorful filth graphic. Tobias's name, obviously you gotta put your name on there. It's your SIG deck. You got an eye. He's watching out for you guys. Got a moon, traditional Addict logo. Very nice, can't forget that A. Got the blacksmith stamp on the front. Can't forget the little 2 beers, because Tobias, 2 beers, little pun right there for you guys who don't pick that up. If you follow him on Instagram, you should already know. Now let's pull out the Brandon James. Got that right here. And this one, man, probably my favorite graphic for a SIG product ever made. For this graphic, you got Brandon James, you got the Afro Samurai take on his graphic. So if you don't know Brandon James, he's big into anime, especially the Afro Samurai series, so much that they actually contacted, I believe the guy's name is Takashi, to get the graphic made for him. Threw on his own personal touches. You got the Jamaican flag right here, you got the Dutch flag, represent. You got the JBS, you know, Just Beasties. BJ for Brandon James. You got the BJ, you got the Addict symbol, and then you got the 2 samurai swords with the 2 middle fingers, just cuz. Let's put these bad boys side by side. So on the front, you can see the nice gold head tube badge right here. I really like that, the gold stands out a lot. You got the raw silver right here, super nice. Still gives you a little bit of peek of your fork. Those little small things go a long way. The artwork on these decks, let me put them back up, just like this. It's sweet, man. As you see, Addict, they're on their post pretty recently. They were talking about the artwork being a big part about signature parts in the scooter world, and I have to say it should be. If you look at other sports like skateboarding, SIG graphics on the decks are always gonna be super cool and they always stand out. And I gotta say, these 2 right here, some of the nicest out on the market right now. Let's go to the dimensions. Both of these decks are gonna be 5 wide. Pull out the tape measure, be exact. Ooh, 4.9 right off the 5. 4.9 right off the 5. You got that 0.1 away from the 5. Not much of a difference. Let's go to the length though. 23.2, 23.2. So identical widths, identical lengths. What about foot space? Let's go from head tube to brake, about 16 inches. 16 inches, yep, so that's not too bad. For being a 23 long deck, you definitely want to expect at least 15 to 16 inches of foot space. Now let's go to the bottom though. And we only have about 4 inches. So as you see, it tapers down about 45 degrees and your bottom is only going to be 4 inches of grinding space. A lot of decks on the market nowadays are going with a full flat bottom, 5 on top, 5 on bottom. Very nice to see. That's probably one of the few things I would have liked to have seen from the new Addict decks. That's definitely something that it's catching on. The more surface area, more control. Sometimes people say more surface area, more room to catch or stick. Not necessarily true. Both head tubes are gonna be 83.5 head tube angle, meaning it's gonna be a slight bit more than the traditional Addict decks, which were 83 degrees. Head tube length as well is a big part, 4.25. And I'm assuming it's the same here, 4.25, meaning that 4.25 inches of your fork will be retained within the head tube. Meaning if you're running SCS, which is when this always comes into play, you might need some headset spacers depending what fork you're running. We're gonna talk about the Radix compatibility of these decks, which is gonna also take care of the wheel size. Radix wheels are 30 millimeters wide. As you guys have seen, Addict also collabed with Eagle, and you're gonna have these new sweet graphics right here. 30 wide, 115 millimeters in the diameter. I'm personally riding some Radix wheels, and I have to say, they feel amazing. So one of the main differences now that you will see, since we talked about all the similarities, is gonna be the back end of the decks. The back end of the Brandon James deck here is gonna be cut for a peg. If you look at the Tobias, fully squared. If you know Brandon James, he is a huge peg rider. So that's the whole reason we have these peg cuts right here. And to go along, we're actually gonna show you the fitment with an Addict short peg as well. As you see in the back end, these are the stock spacers. These are gonna be used for a 24 millimeter wide wheel. Most wheels are 24 millimeter wide. You're gonna have some at 26 and 28, but Radix is 30 wide. So the spacers that come already on the axle are for your traditional 24 millimeter wide wheel. You're also gonna see these little spacers here. I'll show you on the Tobias. You don't have that there. Why? Because it's fully squared, and the whole reason we have these little spacers on the outside is if you're not gonna run the pegs. So let's show you what it looks like if you are gonna run pegs. So you take this bad boy out, take these out as well, because we're gonna show you the installation of the Radix wheel along with the peg. These are gonna be our Radix spacers, little bag, almost identical just a little bit smaller. And let's test out to see if we can run 2 pegs with the stock axle. Most likely not, but let's see how much space we're gonna find out that we need. Honestly, very simple spacer system. As you see now, radix wheel perfectly centered. The peg fitment, so flush, it's perfect. I mean, it's Addict, so of course they're gonna be meant for each other. This is the short peg. If you're running the long, it's gonna stick out even more, but the back end, you only need the short. You really don't want the long, especially if when you're going fakie, you're gonna drag that peg and scrape the ground. Right away, I can tell that our second peg, it's not gonna fit. The stock axle measures 3.5 inches. So if you guys do wanna run 2 pegs in the back, then you're gonna need an axle of at least 4 inches. I would recommend maybe 4.25, but at least 4 inches. Let's tighten it up just without 2 pegs. Let's do just one. As you guys see, tighten this bad boy up. Traditional 13mm socket, 6mm head, Allen. Wheels rolling smooth. If you look at it, the fitment with the stock brake on a radix wheel, it's very close. So if you're running 120mm wheels, you might be rubbing, to be honest, because if you look at that, 5mm more, it's gonna be in almost direct contact. Traditional steel brake, you know, 2 bolts on top. You don't need to worry about locking it in the bottom. Another beautiful thing is with the Addict pegs, you're actually gonna hit peg before you hit the deck, which is a huge thing for pegs, for me at least. So the fact that if you're gonna run this deck and you're gonna run pegs, you're gonna hit the peg before you actually make contact with the deck. They're both gonna be at $180. Honestly, for decks nowadays, that's a very well priced. You really can't go wrong with these. Only thing we really didn't talk about is the weight. And let's see what this bad boy weighs. 4 pounds even. So the Tobias weighing at an even 4 pounds. We got the peg and the wheel off the Brandon James deck. So now let's give this bad boy a shot. Should be a little bit less than the 4 pounds. By 2 ounces. Makes sense. You're gonna save an ounce on this side and an ounce on this side from cutting out right here. If you're looking for a light deck, might not be the choice for you, but if you're looking for a big, solid, strong deck with a beautiful piece of artwork, then these 2 decks right here, definitely the way to go. If there's anything we missed or anything else you guys want to know, always make sure you drop that comment down below. We're always happy to hear your insights and your thoughts on anything else we can add to our unboxing videos or our overviews. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys' feedback and all your support, watching our videos, letting us know what you think. So until next time, see you soon.